What's up, everybody? Today we're going to jump into this action and talk about Keyshawn Davis, and also we're going to talk about the main event with Shakur Stevenson when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean. And as always, we're going to jump right on in and we're going to talk about Keyshawn Davis, and we're going to also talk about Shakur Stevenson. All right, so Keyshawn Davis, up-and-coming young fighter coming out of Norfolk, Virginia. He put on a masterclass in my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below. He definitely put on a masterclass with his tenacity style. He's very nimble on his feet, very fluid with his movement, good foot movements, good angles, good pivots, all the makings of a great up-and-coming young fighter. His opponent, Miguel, is a decent fighter, but I don't know too much about him. But he really didn't have enough. It was something that he didn't have that Keyshawn had, and that's that youth. Like I said, that ring IQ. So he was able to be a step ahead of this guy every round of the fight. The guy had his moments here and there, Miguel did, but Keyshawn proved to be too much for him. So that's just another notch out of his belt to move him up in rankings as a young boxer. And he keeps a zero losses record as of right now. He's been calling out Tank Davis. Personally, I think it's too soon right now. I think he would need a few more fights to lead up into a fight at that level. And then some people say, hey, why not? Feed him to the wolves. Let him go in there with the big dogs. But I think that Tank Davis would be too much for Keyshawn Davis at this point in time of his career. So I'm going to jump into the main event. Shakur Stevenson versus Artem. Artem also fought Frank Martin. For those who know about Frank Martin, he was able to drop Artem once, maybe twice, but I know one time, I believe it was ruled a knockdown because Artem took a knee late in that fight. So when you contrast the style, you're looking at a common opponent with Artem, and then you got Frank Martin, who has power. He's kind of stocky. And then you got the more lankier Shakur Stevenson, who's a more of a defensive. He's like half and half, defense, offense. But I think sometimes he's too defensive-minded and does it too much where he doesn't deliver on his offensive side enough. And that's been a lot of people's gripes when they look at a Shakur Stevenson fight. They're saying he's not exciting. So for those who are saying he's not exciting, comment in the comment section below on why Shakur Stevenson is not exciting. Some say he will not be a pay-per-view star. If that's your opinion, comment and weigh in the comment section. But for those who push behind Shakur Stevenson and say, hey, it's all about chess, not checkers. He wins, and a win is a win, which it is technically. Let me know your opinions in the comment section as well. If you are, if it's gratifying and it's enough for you to see him going 12 rounds, and you're like, okay. Because if you go back on YouTube and watch that fight or those highlights, I want to say he was fighting at home, but if he wasn't fighting in Newark, he definitely had his Newark fan bases there from New Jersey, and his own fan base was booing, and some people were leaving out early. So is that a sign to say he has a lackluster performance? And because I made a post on SB basically. To me, Shakur has all the makings of a great fighter. For one, defensively sound, decent output of punches, good combination. He works the body. He works his angles. He knows how to maneuver around the ring. And I want to say he's a southpaw, so that just helps his case, because a lot of people struggle with southpaw stances. But the only one thing I said on my post is I think that Shakur Stevenson is missing that X factor. And that X factor is what people would say he doesn't have that dog in him, or he doesn't have a killer instinct in him. When I played back old time fighters of my grandfather's era with Sugar Ray Robinson, you often see him being a very classy, scientific fighter. But in the same aspect with Sugar Ray Robinson, he was also finishing or stopping a lot of his opponents. And with Shakur Stevenson, you're not seeing that X factor. So when I say X factor, that's what I mean. Yes, he looks very good skill-wise. He's winning round after round, but people want to see that finish. And I get it. Boxing's not all about knockouts. So don't twist my words or think that I'm saying that you got to see knockouts all the time. No. Because if that was the case, I would be a Deontay Wilder fan. And he knocked out 95% of his opponents. But because he didn't have skills, I really wasn't too much of a Deontay Wilder fan. Yeah, he brought excitement to the heavyweight division to an extent. But to me, I like a fighter who has all the qualities. They can knock out a person. They can also be skilled like Bud Crawford and use their ring IQ. But then at their disposal, they can take you out. Another example, the late great Muhammad Ali. A lot of times, he was boxing people like George Foreman or boxing Joe Frazier and other opponents. And then in mid-rounds to late rounds, Cleveland Williams and different ones he fought, Ali was able to manipulate them with his mind games before the fight. But then in the ring, his quick movement, his foot movement, his output of punches, the accumulation of punches over so many rounds start to take their wear and tear on the opponent. And then at some point, in many cases, Ali was able to close that show. He was able to stop an opponent, or he was able to knock him out, as he did with George Foreman. To me, Shakur Stevenson lacks that level of killer instinct for some reason. I don't know if it's a mental thing. He doesn't seem to take a lot of chances, and people think that he should. But hey, he's winning, so at the end of the day, that's suitable for him and some. But it's a whole lot of people out here that are not too enthused with that. So, and that brings me up to this. So let's just talk in a general sense. What is it that you like about boxing? You have some people say, I want a highlight reel. I want to see a knockout. Or I want to see the ref or the corner throwing the towel to stop a guy because this other guy is doing so much. Or are you the person that says, I don't care how it ends. As long as the person wins by any means necessary, it could be a knockout, it could be a technical knockout, it could be a stoppage, or it could be a 12-round or 10-round decision, points decision. So it's about preference. So let me know your preference. Like, what is it that you like from a fighter? Give me some examples in the comment section. Me personally, I like the fighters like Evander Holyfield or Sugar Ray Leonard or Duran or Marvin Hagler. I like the guys that had very good ring IQ. They could box. They were technically sound, but then they also could stop the fight at some point. And like I said, you look at Money Mayweather, the second coming of Floyd, a lot of people frowned upon that. If you go back and look at his earlier career as Pretty Boy Floyd, you will see more of the guy who was on the front foot, a man who was more in the space of a fighter where he was in arm's length of that fighter, of his opponent. He was very, very good in the pocket. He can make you miss, but he can respond back with 3 or 4 punches just that fast. That was Pretty Boy Floyd. Once he injured his hand, as many know, if you're a true Mayweather fan, he injured his hand, and then he was more of a defensive fighter in the second half of his career. So it's all about preference. So what do you like in a boxer? What do you like as far as the finish of a fight? Does it have to be a KO for you? Does it have to be a stoppage? Or do you like the fighters that are like a Shakur Stevenson that are just so technical and they're clinical and they're surgical and they break down their opponent and they often win on points, but it doesn't give you that excitement? So let me know in the comment section below where you stand with that. And also make sure that you hit the bell notification. Very, very important. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, share, post, likes, all that. And I will catch you on the next round. Peace.